Good evening, Raider baseball fans, and Game 3 is just about to get underway. We're waiting for the umpires to show up, but gosh, what a contest it was as we had the continuation going on this afternoon. How about that Trey Schluter, Jonathan?
Unbelievable. I mean, for him to have the break that he did, going 2 innings, only throwing 31 pitches, he absolutely came out firing on all cylinders, going 5 pitches in both the third and fourth, and throwing a complete game, 74 pitch, basically holding them 3-2. They only scored 1 more run in the continuation.
It's Rouse versus Canyon. Canyon, the district champion out of District 26 5A. They're 25-7 overall on the season. They finished 12-2 in district play. The playoff by districts games are tied 1-1. The Cougars are coached by Nick Kozel. He's 7 years as head coach with 101 wins. He's assisted by Derek Dunaway, Mickey Scott, Dustin Horner, and Reese McKinney with 8 returning starters. Their 2022 record was 27-9, 13-3 overall. They were the district champion and finished as a regional finalist, losing to the eventual state champion Georgetown Eagles. The Rouse Raiders out of District 25 5A, 23-9 overall, 9-5 on the season. They're coached by Chad Crimpine, 22 years as a head coach with 474 wins. He's assisted by Josh Harris, Dan LaPaglia, Will Noble with 9 returning starters. The Rouse Raiders, the 4th seed out of District 25 5A, their 22 record was 23-10-1, 10-4 in district. They were district co-champs and the 4th seed out of District 25 5A, a by-district finalist defeated by the same Canyon Cougars. And here we are once again in a Game 3 scenario for the 3rd year in a row.
3rd year in a row. It's becoming tradition for the Rouse Raiders to find themselves in this spot against this same team in the by-district playoff.
So made some personal things happen in between here, and then getting down here is we didn't realize we had didn't have as much time as we thought we would have in between, but we got here and the kindness of the Canyon folks let us set up here in the press box in eventuality of avoiding inclement weather and having to put our equipment up and actually giving us a better camera shot for tonight's game, much better than we had last night where we were so close on the netting that it actually affected the camera view. So
yeah, for sure.
We'll have a better shot of the contest tonight. Umpires and coaches on the circle as we're just about ready.
And we do have some scores.
Yeah,
if we want to go over those.
Yeah.
So we do have them updated scores here from around the by-district playoffs. Of course, as we just mentioned, Rouse did top Canyon to allow us to come to Game 3, beating them 3-2. Smithson Valley, off an 11-3 win, does advance to the next round of the playoffs, having beat Hayes. Swept them. Liberty Hill does fall in straight games to Bernie Champion, allowing Bernie Champion to advance, and they win 9-3. And then earlier today, Cedar Park did start their first game and winning that against Kerrville-Tivy 4-0, and they currently are in play in the second game, bottom of the 7th, and Cedar Park is up 4-2. So having played both of their first 2 games at Tivy, so not really getting a home field advantage there as a number 1 seed.
They're just about to introduce the lineups, and I believe you actually have some scores out of Region 3 with the Georgetown Eagles. And
yeah, and it didn't actually score in.
Well, you can just bring it up, your Word document. I think you saved it, right?
Yes, I did.
Batting first, number 9, Heinrich.
So your lineup for the Rouse Raiders, leading off will be number 9, Rainer Heinrich at second base. He will be followed by the center fielder, number 10, Landon Miller. Batting third will be the left fielder, number 7, Caden Kaspar. Batting fourth will be the starting pitcher and the DH for tonight, Oscar Salazar. Batting fifth will be number 2, Mikey Caputo at first base. Batting 6th will be the shortstop, number 12, Joseph Sparshoe. Batting 7th will be number 11, Colin Correjo in right field. Batting 8th will be number 3, Blake Gonzalez at third base. And rounding out the order will be the catcher, number 14, Xander Forcell. For the Canyon Cougars, leading off will be number 13, Isaac Iruretagoyina. He will be the starting pitcher for the Cougars tonight. He will be followed by number 30, Cayman Cantu at short. Batting third will be the first baseman, number 22, Will Canalicchio. Batting fourth will be number 2, Sam Ortiz, the designated hitter. He will be hitting for the starting catcher, number 16, Colin Ott. Batting fifth will be the left fielder, number 10, Evan Janner. Batting sixth will be number 18, Elijah Farley in center field.
We are batting second.
We're the home team?
We're the home team after coin flip. I did notice there was a coin flip at home plate for the rubber match.
Okay, well, how about that? So let's.
Number 2, your DH, Sam Ortiz.
So batting sixth will be number 18, Elijah Farley in center field. Batting seventh will be number 17, Jackson Kinsey at third. Batting eighth will be number 5, Bron Farr in right field. And batting ninth, number 1, Trent Villanueva at second base.
Sorry to cut you off on that, Michael, but obviously I needed noticing that and needing to make those adjustments here. Third game coin flip, so that I did see at home plate. And
Number 16 and number 14, Colin Ott. Your Canyon Cougars are coached by head coach Nick Pizzola and assistant coaches Derek Dunaway and Mickey Scott.
And so we're going to take a moment for the national anthem, and we'll be right back with you. Thank you for tuning in and watching Rouse Raider Baseball on SHN Sports.
It's game 3 in Cougar Stadium, ladies and gentlemen. Let's play ball.
And with that, it's baseball time in Texas as we're set to get underway here in New Braunfels. Defensively for the Rouse Raiders, on the mound, number 8, Oscar Salazar. Behind the plate, number 14, Xander Forcell. At first base, number 2, Mikey Caputo. At second base, number 9, Rainer Heinrich. At third base, number 3, Blake Gonzalez. At short, number 12, Joe Sparshoe. In left field, number 7, Caden Kaspar. In center field, number 10, Landon Miller. And in right field, number 11, Colin Correjo.
I want you to take over control.
Due up for the Cougars in the first, Iruretagoyina, Cantu, and Canalicchio.
And it did go official. Cedar Park does now advance after their 4-2 win over Kerrville-Tivy into the next round. So
the interesting thing about that game, it was played in Kerrville, both games today, Game 1 and Game 2, played in Kerrville. Cedar Park, as the district champion out of 25-5A, did not play a home game in this series.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate for them not being able to play a game in front of their fans. It's something that every team deserves an opportunity to do, and even for those seniors. Yes, they get to advance and play more, but they didn't get to play their last game at home in the playoffs, or what should have been two, possibly. But real quick, to go over some of the other playoff games in Region 3, which will see a bunch of Georgetown and Eastview who were in our district region last year, but Georgetown did advance, beating Navarro 10-0 in Game 2.
And 12-0 in Game 1.
And 12-0 in Game 1, yes, sir. McCallum beat Eastview falling in Game 1. They're currently playing Game 2. Elgin winning 9-1 over Crockett in their first game. They're currently playing Game 2. And then Pflugerville did advance in straight games over Lhasa. They're winning 5-1. So.
And that school out of the Austin Independent School District. Number 13, Isaac Uroreta-Goyena will step in from the right side for his first at-bat of the evening. Oscar Salazar will deal first pitch strike. Salazar pitching exclusively from the stretch. He deals outside for ball 1, and that'll even it up. The 1-1 pitch. That's high and outside for ball 2.
Yeah, and Oscar being able to be available for this game is very big for Rouse, as that was in question earlier this week.
Forsell will call time and get a fresh set of pitches. Or a fresh set of signs.
Signs, yeah.
The 2-1 pitch just misses outside for ball 3. Ramon Garcia checking in, saying, let's go Cougars. 3-1, the count to Uroreta-Goyena. 3-1 pitch. This is lifted out to left. Caden Kaspar will come in on it, make the catch, and that will retire Uroreta-Goyena for out number 1.
Up to bat, number 30, Cayman Cantu.
Cayman Cantu will make his way to the plate. Will Canalicchio on deck.
And Oscar getting ahead off that first pitch is great to see, and then getting that first out is always a plus, this early in the game.
Swing and a miss for strike 1.
And once again, noticing New Braunfels going straight after the pitch is not really seeing a lot, and first pitch, they're going after it each time.
That pitch misses low for ball 1, and that will even it up.
Definitely a breezier day today than what we had on Thursday's game here, Thursday night's game, but just as humid.
This one's fouled off for strike 2. 1-2 the count to Cantu. The 1-2 pitch, that's down and away for ball 2. 2-2 count.
And right away, getting to see a little movement there from Xander.
Salazar has the sign. The 2-2 pitch, that's outside for ball 3. And again, Salazar working a little deeper in the count, but he's not had a start in a couple of weeks.
That's correct, yeah, just try to get into the flow of the game here.
Payoff pitch. That's cut on and hit up the middle. Heinrich has it at second. The throw to first in time, and that will do it for Cantu. 4-3 on the putout of Cantu.
That'll bring up to
2 away for Will Canalicchio.
Will Canalicchio.
And Will having one heck of a game.
Earlier today,
defensively, he was all over the place and did a really good job over there.
That one catch that he made running in the outfield with the ball to his back was just tremendous.
And saved a hit because that would have dropped fair.
Will Canalicchio will take for ball 1. Look at Coach Harris. That on deck, well, actually, it's what you would call that defensive stat right there, right? That can't be called on deck fielding percentage.
Bullpen
He's not in his
fielding
coaching box fielding percentage. Well, no, this is hit foul for a strike, and that will even it up at 1.
That's visiting dugout percentage, fielding percentage.
Yeah, we got to make up a stat for that.
You okay?
1-1 the count to Canalicchio. Salazar toes in on the rubber. He deals. This is hit back up the middle. Rainer Heinrich will play it. A routine ground ball to second. The throw to first in time. And that will do it as the Cougars go in order in the first. After 1/2 inning, we're scoreless here in New Braunfels.
And you couldn't really ask for a better start for Oscar Salazar. Again, having mentioned that he has not had an opportunity to pitch here lately. And, you know, obviously bullpens are bullpens. That's not real game scenarios. And, you know, he comes in and settles in nicely, gets 2 ground balls and an easy fly. So for the 3 up, 3 down.
Defensively for the Cougars, on the mound, number 13, Isaac Ururetagoyina. Behind the plate, number 16, Colin Ott. At first base, number 22, Will Canalicchio. At second base, number 1, Trip Villanueva. At third base, number 17, Jackson Kinsey. At short, number 30, Cayman Cantu. In left field, number 10, Evan Janner. In center field, number 18, Elijah Farley. And in right field, number 5, Braun Farr. Ramon lets us know that Will Canalicchio is a Blinn College commit.
Oh, very cool. So he'll be actually playing with a couple of Liberty Hill Panthers, which is left side at Blinn, and that's going to be Cade Neuenschwander and Brandon Creek, who are also committed to play there next year. So that's cool. But, you know, we'll be seeing Isaac here for the second time in this series, as he did close out game 1 in that 8th inning, actually taking the win as we were tied, bringing in extra play, and he does go down as the winning pitcher. So he's on track here to see if he can't get 2 wins out of this series off the bump.
Rainer Heinrich will make his way to the plate. And we are ready to get the bottom half started. Ururetagoyina toes in on the rubber. He will wind and deal. This is high and inside for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch, that's high for ball 2. If Heinrich was a taller guy, he would have had to he would have had to duck out of the way of that one. The 2-0. That's in the middle for a strike. 2-1 the count to Heinrich. Landon Miller on deck. Pitch high and inside for ball 3.
Yeah, really close to the Heinrich turning away from that and almost still caught a bit of the shoulder.
3-1 pitch. This is line to third. Kinsey has it. The throw to first will pull Canalicchio off the bag, but he'll tag Heinrich as he goes by for out number 1. That'll go 3-U for out number 1.
And those that are just joining us, you will notice that Rouse is up in the bottom of the first, the normal home spot. We are playing at Canyon, but there was a coin flip pregame that determined who would be the home team here for this rubber match.
That pitch down and away for a ball to Miller. Grandma Shoddy checking in. Let's go Raiders. Grandma and Grandpa Shoddy checking in.
I was wondering where he was at earlier. I hadn't heard that. Heard his name called on the chat line. Glad you could join us there, Grandma and Grandpa Shoddy.
Thanks for the tremendous broadcasting this season. We totally appreciate it here in Michigan, and you folks are exceptional. Well, thank you very much for your kind words. This is cut on and hit to Kinsey. He says it went foul.
Great throw.
It looked like a fair ball going over to third base, but the umpire right there seeing it, he calls it foul, and that will go as a strike.
And again, back to the same as we've had for this series, same 4 guys that we had earlier today, different than what we had Thursday.
2-1 pitch, that's outside for ball 3.
And as before, they've made their rotation. The guy that was behind home plate earlier game is now at third base.
And Miller will hit this one to left field, and it will go to the fence. Miller rounds first and will stroll into second with a stand-up double.
A little extra base knock there for Landon Miller, keeping on the strong bat, as has been the case throughout this series.
That will bring up Caden Kaspar. And I tell you what, Miller has loved that left side of the field.
No doubt, no doubt. I mean, if he hits it oppo, I think that's a pure fluke.
He jumps on it quick and puts it over at left field. He's been successful with that in both games so far. Kaspar will take for ball 1. Hiroreta Goyena from the stretch. Ott gives the sign, and Kaspar will pop this one up. It is an infield fly, and Cantu will park underneath it to make the catch as he pops up to short for out number 2, and that will bring up Oscar Salazar, the Raider pitcher. Mikey Caputo on deck. Ott sets up on the outside of the plate. Hiroreta Goyena deals. He'll get the outside corner for strike 1.
Great breaking pitch there. A lot of drop there, just really going to be effective tonight if he can keep that up.
Aunt Nancy and Uncle Jim checking in from Michigan. Go Raiders. Glad to have y'all with us. That pitch will sail high for ball 1, and that will even it up.
And really hoping for a good knock here from Oscar Salazar. Anything in that finds the grass should plate Landon Miller with his speed.
1-1 misses low for ball 2. Both of these teams very evenly matched.
Yeah, very strong defensively, good arms on the bump for both sides. And then obviously can bring the bats.
2-1 to Salazar. That looked like a good pitch, but may have been high on that outside corner.
I think just a little high. Just lacked a little bit of that break like the first pitch had and hung just a hair high. And again, learn the strike zone here for this umpire.
Hiroreta Goyena comes set. The 3-1 pitch, swing and a miss on a fastball for strike 2.
Yeah, hitter's count there. Oscar wasn't wasting any time trying to offer at that. Unfortunately, came up empty. The wild
payoff
here.
pitch coming up. Pitch down and away for ball 4. And Salazar will draw the first walk of the night. Number 2, Mikey Caputo makes his way to the plate. That'll put Little Shoddy on deck. Joe Sparshoe. Two on with 2 out here in the bottom of the first. And Caputo will take for a ball, a breaking ball that
That looked good. That looked
really,
good from up here.
really good.
Again, that it caught a corner of the plate, but it was called ball. Again, I would assume outside.
The 1-0 pitch. And Caputo will hit this one out towards left center. Evan Janner able to get to it in time, and he had to travel some distance to get there, but he gets there.
Yeah.
And that will end the Raider first. They get no runs on one hit, and they leave two. After one complete, we're scoreless here at Canyon.
Yeah, and that was an eerily similar shot that he had right after Landon had home run in the Thursday night game. Mikey had come up in the spot right after him and sent one in the exact same spot, and Janner did the exact same thing, able to get back on it and get a glove underneath the ball and just allowed out as it is.
Due up for the Cougars in the second, Ortiz, Janner, and Farley. Hey, Tyler, glad to see you back with us.
Tyler Farley.
No, he's Tyler C. Well, he's got Tyler C. I don't know if his last name's Farley or not, but
He's cousin,
it's
right?
Yeah, he's cousin to Elijah.
Cousin to Elijah. We're going to call him a Farley.
Yeah. Let's go Cougars. I don't know, he might take offense to that.
He's claimed to know him earlier, so he can't take too much offense.
Okay. Salazar back out to pitch the second.
Got to remember to work that crowd mic a little bit more, huh?
Right, yeah.
I've got it down now. Well,
Just press that button, right?
Well, I want to bring it down so it's not in our ears as much either, because even with it being muted for the folks at home,
Oh, yeah,
it's
true.
still in our
Yeah,
ears.
It's still in our ears. It is really loud.
They have got a very good speaker here at Cougar Stadium.
Right, and you may hear it over our microphones as well. So, at any rate, an overcast evening here in New Braunfels. The wind blowing out of the south. It's been a very humid day all day, and if we didn't have that wind right now, it would be a hot box in this
it'd
press
be brutal.
box.
Yeah, it would be a bit brutal, without having that breeze.
Tyler says it's hard to explain how we're cousins. Many relationships and divorces.
Okay, we'll leave it at that, Tyler.
We'll leave it at that, Tyler.
His sister's, mother's, uncle's, brother's, cousin, twice removed?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Ortiz digs in, and he'll take for ball one.
And again, that outer corner not being called strike, so we'll see again. Does that stay consistent throughout the game?
No pitch. That's in for a strike, and that will even it up. .325 down the left field line, 310 down the right. And Ortiz will hit this into shallow center field, and Landon Miller able to get to it. What a outstanding diving catch by Landon Miller to make that catch on that shallow fly ball to center.
Yeah, and one thing I've said is anybody that has ever played in an outfield position, a ball hit directly at you is one of the hardest balls to read on is it sharply hit or was it a flare like that, and he was able to really run up on that quickly and half slide to get underneath to make the catch. Great play.
Right. Tyler says, yeah, much more. So much more you were describing. Janner will stand in, and he will take for a ball.
Yeah, and in the last game we had a similar here's a shot to the left center gap.
And that's going to get in the gap.
And that does allow it to be right in the gap there between Landon Miller and Caden Kaspar. And Kaspar able to get his glove on it and hold him to a double, but an easy leadoff double.
No, it's not a leadoff.
Leadoff of the, second batter. One out. Shot by none other than
Evan Janner, who's just been hot
and
throughout this series.
And it was, again, first pitch.
Hey, it's Tyler's cousin coming up. It's Elijah Farley. Yeah, Tyler says about 20 times more than what you were saying. First pitch to Farley fouled off for a strike. Sarah checking in. Nana, Blake's grandmother, here to say, let's go Raiders. Awesome. Well, hello, Blake's grandmother. Nana.
And if that is who I met during one of our broadcasts earlier this year, she was, again, very
Swing and a miss on a nasty little slider.
very appreciative of our broadcast and, keeping everything even keel, throughout the broadcast. And, we really appreciate that.
They are high school kids, and we want to honor those kids, whether they're our home team or if they're our opponents. There's no animosity here. It's about them. That pitch.
Yeah, I'm
In
like
for strike 3 on a breaking ball on the outside corner. It's
inside.
Nona. All right.
Nona.
That'll bring up number 17.
Let's get that right. Well,
Heck
Nona,
yeah.
thank you for being a part of our broadcast today and chiming in. We're glad to have you with us. 2 away as Jackson Kinsey will come to the plate. Kinsey, the third baseman for the Cougars. I knew a Nona back years ago, and she only had 1 in her name. You take for a strike.
Yeah, we're definitely starting to see that part of the plate, and Oscar's honing in on that. And it's like, man, if he's going to give me that strike call, I'm going to pitch there all night.
Salazar just a junior.
Yes, 4-year starter.
3-year starter.
3 years, will be a 4-year, excuse me. Next
Pitch on the outside corner.
and again, going
Strike
right
2.
after that exact same pitch, which the flip side here is normally that outside pitch isn't necessarily called on, or that same exact position of pitch as it was on the lefty with Farley. Got the call just as it is being called here with a right-handed batter.
0-2 the count to Kinsey. 1 on with 2 out. That pitch just misses the outside corner. He goes right back to that same location and doesn't get the call this time.
Yeah, I think that was just a hair further out. Testing the boundaries of what will and will not be a strike call is Oscar Salazar.
Janner extending his lead at second, and Heinrich comes up to play it. That pitch just a little bit high. Some parents obviously thought that was a strike, but no, that was a little bit high for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, looky there. Tim Francis checking in. Best announcer, unbiased. That I won't tell you that he's my middle son, but
How you doing,
he
Tim?
may be. Tim, a Raider alumnus as well, an first-team all-district pitcher for the Raiders back in 2012. That pitch misses outside for ball 3.
Yeah, and Oscar getting up, quick on an 0-2, and then has proceeded to run this full on 3 outside pitches, not getting Kinsey to chase at all.
The payoff pitch, swing and a miss for strike 3, and that will do it for the Cougars in the second. They get no runs on 1 hit. They leave 1 after 1.5. It's scoreless here in New Braunfels.
Yeah, and Janner doing his part there to get a runner in scoring position, but unfortunately, New Braunfels not able to capitalize on that, and we still are sitting at 0s.
Veronica Arnold checking in. Mr. Francis, your family is the best. Tim, very good. Very good. Udo Retagoyina makes his way back out to pitch the second. No other defensive changes for the Cougars. Cougars in their white uniforms today. They were in red last night and black earlier today, and they're back into their whites. I believe they were in these on Thursday night.
Yep, and we are with our
Due up for the Raiders, Sparshoot,
Up
Correjo,
to
and
bat.
Gonzalez.
Number
That would be your
12,
6, 7,
Sparshoot.
8 hitters.
And a little shotty coming in, hoping to fire up this Rouse crowd.
Little shot he will take for a ball. High and inside.
He's really starting to come alive with his bat, which is great to see.
He will take for a strike on the outside corner, and that will even it up at 1. The 0-1 delivery, that's fouled off for strike 2.
Just a little bit off there on that swing. Catching a little piece of it.
That will go to the backstop for ball 2, and that will even it up. Little wild pitch action. Colin Correjo helping his on-deck fielding percentage. He's keeping that at 1,000, and Sparshoot caught looking for out number 1.
That crisp breaking outside pitch. A great pitch there from Isaac, and
Following the strikeout, that'll bring up number 11, Correjo.
Joe walks back to the dugout shaking his head like, why did I not try to get a piece of that? Foul it off and look for another pitch.
Correjo will take for a strike on the inside corner. Correjo batting from the left side. He was the pitcher for the Raiders on Thursday night in a no decision. Little off-speed pitch in for strike 2, and Correjo quickly in an 0-2 count. Momar Garcia saying, go Raiders. Swing and a miss, and Correjo goes down on 3 pitches. That will bring up Blake
Up to bat,
Gonzalez.
Number 3, Gonzalez.
Whoa.
That's kind of like Caden was last night. He's looking in, he wasn't even looking.
Yeah, but he
But unfortunately, he takes for a ball.
ducked his head just to not get hit in the head by that pitch. It went over the top of his helmet.
That pitch misses outside for ball 2. Xander Forsell on deck. There's a breaking ball for a strike. Pitch outside for ball 3.
Yeah, very interesting to see here that Isaac's relying heavily on that breaking pitch right now early in the count. And, you know, when it's on, man, it's very,
It's working for him well.
very hard to pick up and hit that.
3-1 in there for a strike.
And there it was again. A lot of late break, comes over the top of the plate, and Mikey thought he had,
Blake.
or Blake thought he had a ball, and
The payoff pitch, swing and a miss as Irureta Goyena strikes out the side. They go in order in the second, and we are scoreless going into the third. Due up for the Cougars in the third. Far, Villanueva, and Irureta Goyena.
again, you know, Farr obviously being the no decision starting pitcher Thursday night for Canyon, came in a pinch hit situation in the previous game, so being utilized in multiple different ways.
Grips on your ways, front way, back way. You know that I don't play. Streets not safe, but I never run away. Even when I'm away.
There we go. Got to keep remembering to
Right, you gotta
work
turn
that
one
mic.
down because it just gets loud, and then it hits us on copyright infringement, and so they'll partially block some of our broadcasts once it's been recorded and the stream is ended. So when people go back to watch it,
Yeah,
it will get blocked.
sections are shut off, and you know obviously we don't want that. And defensively, no changes here, as sort of would be expected early in the game. No reason to change anything up, as we do see all the familiar faces out there defensively for Rouse. Colin Correjo back into his normal role in right field. Landon Miller in center and Caden Kaspar in left.
Up to bat, number 5, Ron Barr.
And a quick discussion. I don't know. They're holding him up, the third base umpire, talking to Coach Kensel. And first pitch, swing and a miss from Braun Farr. Oscar getting ahead early and in this count as well as he has in for most times. We do have a ball in play, ground ball hit to Joe Sparshoe, and the throw sails high out of the stretch of Mikey Caputo at first, and that does allow the leadoff batter to reach on an error. That'll go down as E6, as Braun Farr is now on first.
Following the error, that'll bring up number 1, Trip Villanueva.
And next up will be, if you could hear that over the loud music, is Trip Villanueva. Toes in, Oscar checks the runner, gets his sign. And the delivery bunt shown and fouled off for strike 1. And something that New Braunfels has been doing very consistently with 0 or 1 outs is next batter, no matter who it is going to look to lay down a bunt. And Tripp again squares up, showing bunt. And ball is low and away. Pitch is low and away for ball 1. Evening the count at 1. And again, Oscar looking in, checking the runner. And again, rounding over for a bunt. And the ball skips off the front of the plate, bounces straight up in the air. Xander Forsell looking around trying to find it, as Braun Farr is able to take second without a throw, as the ball did go sky high off the front of the plate, and that will be ball 2, bringing the count to 2-1, and now with a runner in scoring position for the New Braunfels Canyon. And still looking to lay down bunt, and he is able to do so. Fielded by Mikey Caputo, who throws to first, covered by Rainer Heinrich for out number 1, but that does allow the runner to advance to third base. And our first possible run of the game is 90 feet away.
13, Isaac Wyman.
And back to the top of the lineup for Isaac Wyman, as they call him here at Canyon Stadium. And Oscar looks in, gets a sign in the delivery, swing and a miss by Isaac for strike 1. And again, Braun takes his lead at third. Swing, pitch outside. One that has been a strike in the last inning is called a ball, so not sure if that missed low or maybe just a skosh outside, as Michael will say very frequently. And next pitch is a breaking pitch over the middle for strike 2. Bringing the count to 1-2 with 1 out and 1 runner on. Oscar looking to work quickly on the mound. Delivery and knocked down by Xander, as a pitch was a little low and away, evening the count at 2. You know, and a quick little reset from Oscar, adjusts, and is back and ready to go here for the next pitch.
So what I was doing, I was trying to find the this is chopped on and hit the short. Sparshoe has it, throw to first. Not in time, as Retogoyino will beat it out. And Farr will score. And another error has scored another Cougar run.
I would honestly, fielded cleanly, thrown strongly enough. That was
no, I wasn't calling that
an
error. I wasn't calling that. He reached on an error.
Oh, reached on an error. Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm with you.
Farr reached on the error.
Correct. And that was a very deep in the hole shot from Isaac that was fielded cleanly by Joe and made a strong throw, but unfortunately didn't beat the runner based on the call.
Ramon Garcia saying, let's go Trip. Angel Sparshoe, go Raiders. Strike him out. Oh. And Don Miller, Raiders house. Whose house?
Raiders house.
Rouse house, right?
Yeah, and that does draw a quick visit to the mound from Coach Harris as he's talking to the guys. Again, settle in. Don't let that affect you. It's one run. It's very early in the game. Isaac, rightfully so, very pumped up over there after beating the throw to first.
Kevin Cantu at the plate. He's in a 1-0 count. Retogoyino at first. I didn't notice if they brought in a courtesy runner for him.
They did not. He is still there.
That pitch in for a strike, and that will leaving it up. So I was looking to see who would be the teams that we would possibly play if we advance. If either team advances to the next round, that would concern both teams here,
right, in
this deciding game. Salazar toes in the 1-1 pitch. That's down and away for ball two.
And Xander dropping and sliding outside, making sure he keeps that body in front. Do not want a wild pitch or pass ball here to allow the runner to advance.
2-1 the count. Cantu is 0 for 1. He grounded to second his first time up. And he will take for ball 3.
And again, one of those breaking pitches that does drift far enough away from the plate to get the ball call. Definitely looks like it was a ball from up here.
3-1 the count. Pitch, ball 4, and that will put 2 on. Salazar issues his first walk of the evening. And that's probably going to be it.
Bring up number 22, Will Canalicchio.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to be on a short leash in this game. Win or go home, right? I mean, there's no time to let somebody work out of an issue or work out of an inning. And it does look like I do not see anybody coming out of the dugout or the bullpen yet. So not sure who the pitcher's going to be, but Crimpine immediately sort of glancing over like, do we have somebody? And
looks like Nolan Harris.
It will be Nolan Harris, and that's the reason why we do have Mikey Caputo at first, which is the normal resting spot for Nolan Harris. Although we've seen a little bit of a rotation there between Nolan, Oscar, and Mikey here on the season, but Nolan, our lefty sidearm specialist here, who has not actually made an appearance in this series yet.
Will Canalicchio coming up to the plate. It'll be a lefty-lefty matchup.
Up to bat, number 22, Will Canalicchio.
Canalicchio comes to the plate. He's 0 for 1. He grounded to second his first time up.
You know, and with that, we definitely have the double play well alive here. Again, a lot of movement here from the arm of Nolan Harris, and keeps the batters off balance and can easily get that ground ball to induce the double play.
First pitch offering. This is hit high into right field. Colin Correjo will camp underneath it. He'll make the throw in, and Iroreto Goyino will advance to third on the sacrifice.
Following the sac fly, that'll bring up number 2, Sam Ortiz.
That will bring up Sam Ortiz. Ortiz is 0 for 1. He flew out to center his first time up.
Yeah, and speaking of, Coach immediately talking to his outfielders, letting them know to be ready.
Runners on the corners. 2 on with 2 out. Swing and a miss for strike 1.
Great off-speed pitch there from Nolan, as Ortiz was well ahead of that pitch.
Again, we want to thank the gracious hosts here at Canyon for allowing us to set up in the press box. Actually, it made room for more fans down by the fence for them as well.
Yeah, one thing that I had noticed is, we're not taking up that
That pitch misses for ball 1. 1-1 the count.
Block right behind home plate that's so much sought out for by the fans.
That pitch is the inside corner for strike 2.
And we do have a stolen base there that did not draw a throw from Xander
That's
Forcell.
a little defensive indifference. Forcell saw him go and didn't even attempt to make a throw down. He's work on the batter.
Yeah, exactly.
1-2 the count. One-two pitch, breaking ball misses for ball 2, and that will even it up.
Our first Deuces Wild.
Yeah, it is the first one of the evening. Deuces Wild for Sam Ortiz. Actually, 4 of a kind.
Again,
2
back
balls,
to the
2
2
strikes, 2 outs, and 2 on. This is hit down to third. Gonzalez will make the throw to first. All he had to do was step on the bag. Right? No. He needed to throw to first. That's
He had
right.
to make the throw, and
Gotta do it.
obviously
Top of the third. Here's
5-3 as Harris able to get Ortiz to ground out to end the inning, but they get a run on the board. 1 run on 1 hit. They leave 2. And on to the bottom we go. It's 1-0 Canyon.
Yeah, and again, similar to the Game 2 start on Friday night, the 1 run was scored on an error, throwing error, that did come around to eventually be the first run on the board in Game 2, but Rouse did respond to that and proceed to put up 3 of their own runs in the following inning, so we'll see if that can.
Due up for the Raiders, Forsell, Heinrich, and Miller. That's your 9, 1, and 2 hitters.
We'll see if they can't repeat that occurrence here in the bottom of the third.
Raiders definitely hoping to do better. Ureta Goyena struck out the side back in the second inning.
And we'll get to see Xander Forsell coming in, seeing his first plate appearance here in the series. As he normally shares time between catching duties with Nathan Miller. And we have seen many occurrences where he has been DH'd for. But again, coach giving him the nod.
Excuse me, my first trip up. Ureta Goyena toes in on the rubber, and he will deal high for ball 1. I have done so good about not tripping over his name.
I've tripped
throughout
over it
this
a couple of
series,
times
and
already, so I'm done. He's Y-man.
I just stumbled. He lays off for ball 2. He started to check his swing and holds up.
He'll be Y-man or just Isaac for me.
The 2-0 pitch. And
Oh.
breaking ball in for a strike.
Again, just working that, almost exclusively throwing that breaking pitch.
2-1. Again, another breaking pitch, and he swings and misses for strike 2, and that will even it up.
But when it's that effective, you know.
Heinrich on deck. Ott sets up on the outside corner, the 2-2 pitch. That's high for ball 3.
Well, definitely got away, and that actually was a
That was
two-seamer.
a break. No, it was a breaking ball that didn't break, right?
Well,
'Cause
no, I think it broke
came
in.
To,
Did it? Okay,
Oh, yeah,
look.
it came to his left side, so 2-2 pitch, and that will hit him.
Almost looked to me like it broke back the other
And that
direction,
would
but
have been,
yeah.
that would have been ball 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's send him to base with.
Up to bat.
And
a
we'll
little
get a
shot.
courtesy runner,
Heinrich.
Dawson Snow.
Yep, Dawson Snow in to run for our catcher.
And we'll bring up Rainer Heinrich. Heinrich 0 for 1. He grounded to first. Will Canalicchio making the play. It had him pulled off the bag, but he plied the tag as Heinrich went by. From the stretch. First pitch offering to Heinrich, a breaking ball in for a strike. And it sounds repetitive, but that's how many curveballs he's going
breaking
to.
pitch, breaking pitch, strike, breaking pitch, strike. You know, and nobody better here than Rainer Heinrich to keep the
The 0-1.
inning
that
going.
Sails high and outside for ball 1, and that will even it up.
As Rainer was voted upon by his peers in that dugout over there for Rouse as the team MVP on the season.
1-1 pitch. A breaking ball. This is hit out to left. Evan Janner underneath it. He makes the catch, and that will do it.
And as crazy enough as that wind is
Up to bat,
blowing
number
out,
10,
these balls are
Miller.
just not flying in this extremely humid air tonight. I mean, there's just not a lot. It's just trying to cut through a, blanket of clouds out there of thick air.
Landon Miller will come to the plate. He's 1 for 1 with a double. And got stranded back in the first. Swing and a miss as he chases a high fastball for strike one. Caden Kaspar on deck, 1 on with 1 out. Dawson Snow standing at first. Retroguina will deal a breaking ball.
Oh,
that
wow.
one a little bit high. He gets a beneficial call for strike 2.
Yeah, and Landon obviously not too pleased with that one as he steps back in and tries to.
The 0-2 delivery, that one's fouled off for keeping the count the same.
Yeah, Landon, a very fiery player, and, wears his emotions on his sleeve as, can easily get the team fired up as he's always fired up.
The 0-2 pitch is down and away for ball 1.
And great job of stopping that ball.
Ott's been doing a lot of moving around back there. He's doing a great job. The 1-2 pitch. And this is hit high and deep to left. Janner to the warning track, and he'll make the catch, and that will do it for Landon Miller.
And where I was going to say, unfortunately, the first drive to left field for Rainer Heinrich was not deep enough to get a tag up. That one literally was close, basically warning track power, as Janner reached out with his right arm to make sure he wasn't going to run into the fence as he made that catch, and unfortunately Snow just halfway and then trotted back to first. So able to.
So I'm not exactly sure how many pitches that Retroguina will have with his pitch count from the other night, which was just 1 inning.
Yeah, and
but how does that impact his availability tonight?
Does he get the full 110?
I'm not sure, with there being a day in between. Caden Kaspar will come to the plate for his second at bat. He flew out or popped up to short his first time up, and he will take for a ball. Throw over to first, not in time as Snow gets back safely. Oscar Salazar on deck. 1-0 pitch. That's inside for ball 2. Pitch, that's inside for ball 3.
Yeah, just working closer and closer to inside is Isaac, and
there is activity in the Raider bullpen, but unfortunately I can't see.
Looks like Nathan Bergman, maybe.
Three 3-0 the count to Kaspar. The pitch misses for ball 4.
And, one thing that I've noticed playing ball, not truly baseball, but hands get sticky. That humid air, and my hands here are sticky right now. So with them sweating and that sticky, humid air, that ball could get very sticky. And obviously going to that rosin bag as much as he can to try to not have that happen, which is what just did with that 4 straight pitches. The last one hitting Caden.
Salazar 0 for 0. He drew a walk his first time up, and he'll take for a strike. The 0-1, swing and a miss for strike 2. on a pitch that was down and away and broke
A lot.
quite a bit. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. It goes by the backstop.
Okay, fouled off.
He fouled it off.
Fouled off
Okay.
is the only reason to. Luckily, got just enough of that and stayed out of the glove of Ott to allow him to stay in there. And
Mikey Caputo on deck. The 0-2 pitch, that's high for ball one.
great eye there from Oscar Salazar, not reaching and chasing on that outer half pitch. That was high and away. High and away.
1-2 the count to Salazar.
Quick little hiccup there.
1-2 pitch. Breaking ball outside for ball two.
You know, and once again, that outside pitch, you know, Isaac actually thought he may have had him as he made a couple of steps off the
This
mound.
is wild. Well, actually, four of a kind again with two on. That pitch misses for ball three, and Salazar has worked it full where he was quickly in an 0-2 count.
Yeah, in a very similar situation that Oscar had on his side of pitching. And
Payoff pitch coming up. That is hit foul down the first baseline on a pitch that was probably high and outside.
yeah, and you know,
It goes back to what we've discussed before. You got to defend, and you can't
Correct.
take a chance on anything that looks like it might be close.
don't leave it to the decision of the umpire on a borderline pitch, right?
Right.
Hit it, foul it off, look to see if you can get something on the next pitch that you can handle.
The payoff pitch. This is hit back up the middle. Cantu has it. The throw to first in time, and that will do it for the Raiders. 6-3 on the putout of Salazar to end the Raider third. They get no runs
That'll do it for the third. Following
on
a
no
great play at
hits,
shortstop
and
by
they
David
leave
Cantu.
two. And on to the fourth we go. It's 1-0 Canyon.
Yeah, I was going to say,
And the one lone scorer that has scored for Canyon reached on an error, on a throwing error by Joseph Sparshoe.
Yes, sir, and that's, you know, that has been the Achilles heel, you know, throughout the season, is just not necessarily from that position, just errors in general that have come back to bite Rouse. And, you know, Nolan does come back out here, and I'll tell you, Kamen Cantu had a great job there, as that ball would normally have bounced up to him and caught just on that grass-dirt transition and made it roll out and stay on the ground. He was able to stay down on that ball and not allow it to sneak underneath his glove. So good defensive play there.
Due up for the Cougars in the fourth, Janner, Farley, and Kinsey.
You know, and I would say no doubt Canalicchio had gone in to talk to Jenner and Farley, having also seen that lefty-on-lefty matchup, to maybe give them some encouragement and ideas on how to handle Nolan Harris with his delivery.
Number 10, Evan Janner.
Janner 1 for 1 with a stand-up double back in the second. He eventually was stranded at second. First pitch from Harris. And they had appealed to the umpire down the third baseline. He said he was able to check his swing for ball one. Que pasa, que? The 1-0 pitch to Janner outside for ball two. Harris pitching exclusively from the stretch. He'll get the outside corner for a strike.
Yeah, and again, just such a hard situation for a lefty batter, especially with a lefty throwing with such outside delivery, and that ball breaks hard across the very front.
Pitch on the inside, swung on and missed for strike 2, and Janner in an even 2-2 count.
You know, and the only person previously able to get Janner to strike out was Holbrook.
The 2-2 swing and a miss for strike 3,
And I'm
that will
so,
do it for Janner.
So glad I didn't do the commentator's curse saying that too early. As Janner falls and he's looking over at his guys going, man, that thing had a lot of movement on it. I could see him signaling to the on-deck batter.
It's game 3. It is a deciding game. It's win or go home for either of these teams. And this is hit deep foul down the right field line. And
yeah, right at the base of the fence there.
right at the corner. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that was to the fence practically. A long strike for Elijah Farley. He's 0 for 1. He struck out looking back in the second. Swing and a miss on an off-speed curveball.
That's such a great pitch for Nolan.
That thing just looked like it was floating up there.
And it's coming in at like 62 miles an hour if we were able to have a gun on it. And it's just so hard for these guys, having seen Oscar that's throwing close to 90.
Breaking ball, that must have been a little bit low. It looked good, too. It's down the middle, but low.
Yeah, and that's what's so great and effective about Nolan is you bring high 80s, low 90s, and then turn around and bring in low 80s for the fastball, but his off speed is in the 60s.
1-2. Catches him looking, and he strikes out looking again for out number 2.
That'll bring up number 17, Jackson
Kinsey.
Got a lot of movement on Harris's pitches. It's hard to really call them fastballs.
Understood. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
well, he hasn't really shown
Well, his
it yet.
fastball even tails away. It's got movement on
Yes.
it as well. Kinsey will lift this one into left. Caden Kaspar will come in underneath it. He'll make the catch, and that will do it for the Cougar fourth. They go in order. On to the bottom we go. The Cougars 1, the Raiders nothing.
He makes the very nonchalant catch, and I'm sure that may draw a response from Coach Krempine, you know, on that.
Like, don't do your glove like that. That could bounce right out.
It could easily bounce off the heel of the glove. You know, one thing that we always said, 2 hands while you're learning, you know.
Irureto Goyena makes his way back out to pitch the fourth for the Cougars. He will face Caputo, Sparshu, and Correjo.
And again, not seeing any defensive moves as of right this moment for New Braunfels, and they're checking on, coach is checking on a pitch count here.
So I have to go back,
I
and
was
I can
just about to tell you what he had for the pitch count
on
Thursday
and the 8th. And let's see, I count 4. No, that was a 4-pitch walk. Then it was another 4-pitch. It's the next batter. That was that's 8. Then he had 5. That was
I had
13,
him as,
and then I had
24.
Yep, that's exactly what I've got.
Yep, 24 is what I showed on Game Changer, so he is now at 84, and again, we have to assume 110 is his pitch count with it being...
For a week. You can have 110 pitches for a week.
Right,
Yeah.
and you got
You have to have, I think, a minimum of 4 days rest between games like that. First pitch into Caputo for a strike.
And
Caputo is 0 for 1. He flew out to center his first time up to end the first with 2 on. That pitch misses low for ball 1.
And they have him at 60 currently. So
that is a wild pitch for ball 2.
Obviously, Rouse looking to go deep into every count that they can to have Isaac.
Breaking ball in for a strike, and that will even it up at 2.
Off the bump as early as possible.
Goyena shakes off a couple of signs. A 2-2 pitch. A breaking ball inside gets him.
Yeah, looks like they are having a hard time hearing us at home. Lou Diaz checking in and saying that he's got to turn his volume up pretty substantially just to try to barely hear us.
Well, we're peaking pretty good. I've turned our gain up just a little bit, and hopefully that will help.
Yeah, our volume is...
That pitch to Sparshoe misses high as he shows bunt, and Kinsey comes in to play it. 1-0 the count.
Yeah,
Let me know if that sounds better for y'all. That pitch misses the outside corner for ball 2. The 2-0 pitch gets the outside corner for strike 1.
You know, and that was the same pitch that took Joe out his first at bat.
Colin Correjo on deck. He shows bunt, lays off, and takes for a strike.
On the exact same pitch.
That will even it up. Scott Purcell says he has great audio. Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Lou's electronically
the 2-2 pitch, that's high for ball 3.
challenged, you know, so.
Full count to Sparshoe. Varsity checking in. Audio perfect, guys. Thank you very much. The 2-2. Swing and a miss on a pitch down and away. We're out number 1.
Ball on the strikeout. That'll bring up number 11.
Same thing
Correjo.
from Kevin Correjo. Says everything sounds good. Lou, it helps if you turn up the proper volume button.
Best quality in the state. Thank you, sir. I like that very much. Thank you for those kind words. Blake Gonzalez on deck. Hiroreto Goyena will deal inside for ball 1. Correjo 0 for 1. He struck out back in the second on 3 straight pitches.
Yeah, getting behind in the count quick and unfortunately having to offer at a inside breaking pitch.
That pitch misses inside for ball 2.
Which is basically that pitch right there. And okay, so
James Bills checks in. I hear it fine.
Isaac.
Lou can't hear to start with. Ashley checking in. Audio sounds great. Go Cougars.
Very interesting if you had seen this. So Isaac visibly distraught over those last 2 pitches that each one of them he thought was a strike, as he has made his thoughts very clear to the home plate umpire, to say the least. And then also over at short, you did have Cayman Cantu throwing his hands up like, you know, what was wrong with either of those pitches, Blue? And coach comes out to have a quick talk with his guys and settle them down. And
Peter Gualandri checking in. Let's go Cougars from Bismarck, North Dakota.
oh, wow, there's a town you don't hear too much on a Rouse broadcast.
Right, we've got Michigan, we've had Ohio, we've had people overseas and checking in, but we're glad to have you with us, Peter.
And then he thinks
Pitch
that
in
was
for a strike.
He's like, that's the same pitch, but it wasn't. That was definitely well more over the plate than the first 2. So
2-1 the count to Correjo. Swing and a miss for strike 2. And that will even things up. The sun has finally come out. The wind is blowing, so that helps us to stay cool. Throw to first will not be in time. And
actually caught Mikey leaning a little bit there and turned to make the pick, and Mikey able to dive back in there barely.
time called by Correjo, and the 2-2 pitch. That will hit him, get him on the foot.
And Coach Kensel not really happy about that, and not thinking that that hit Colin, and Colin obviously showing otherwise, that it doinked right off the back foot as he's shaking it and doing a quick jog to make sure he's okay.
And maybe Coach Kozel asking about strikes.
And that could be the case, yes.
You know, he's frustrating his pitcher, and sometimes that happens.
In steps Blake Gonzalez.
We will get going again. Urareta Goyena, he toes in on the rubber as he will face Blake Gonzalez. That pitch misses for a ball. Gonzalez is 0 for 1. He struck out back in the second when Urareta Goyena struck out the side. He will lay off for ball 2. Xander Forsell on deck. 2 on with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Isaac Urareta Goyena on the mound. The 2-0 pitch to Gonzalez gets the outside corner for strike 1.
Yeah, and again, just such a hard pitch to handle.
Donna May checking in. Nathan Bergman's Mimi watching from Columbus, Ohio. Thank you for tuning in and watching, Mimi. Glad to have you with us. That pitch misses for ball 3, I assume, yes.
It was called ball 3, and once again, much to the dismay of Coach Kensel and Isaac.
The 3-1 pitch to Gonzalez, in for a strike. That was down the middle. There was no doubt on that.
Yeah, again, to Blake, he probably thought it was maybe a bit high, but that definitely had good break on it to drop in the top of the zone for a strike.
Payoff pitch coming up. That's down and away for ball 4. And Urareta Goyena visibly frustrated.
Visibly. And has been now for...
And he is chattering. I'm not sure what he's saying.
Up to bat,
I mean, on that pitch, that was definitely his
was,
pitch. That was an issue, but I think he's just a bit upset about previous pitches that may not been called that he felt were strikes.
And that may be the case. Well, they're asking the pitch count. He wanted to know where he's at, and
yeah, I mean, he's 83 and 20. What do we say? 24.
24.
Okay. So 107.
Xander Forsell was hit by a pitch his first time up. Bases loaded, and essentially, if you look from a defensive point, the way Coach Crimpine did last night, you have the double play in play.
Yes.
With bases loaded here.
And I haven't paid.
Forsell will take for strike 1 a breaking ball on the outside corner.
I haven't been seeing anybody up in the bullpen for.
Yeah, well, we're really blocked, so it's kind of hard to see from our vantage point. Oh, 1, this is lifted foul and out of play.
You know, and definitely the discussion for Xander is, I mean, no matter what, as long as he's not swinging at the first 3 pitches, Xander will be the last pitcher that Isaac will face.
I mean, this is hit foul down the first baseline. As the umpire calls it, it just went foul.
I'll tell you what,
right
Will.
before it got to first base, and it was one of those that was very close as Canalicchio was waiting till the last minute to lay off of it.
Yeah, he looked like he was
looked
ready
like
to
he was
field
ready
it.
to field it and play it.
And the question would have been, had he fielded that, would he have fielded it fair, which would have, of course, allowed the run to score as Mikey was
heads
running
up
in.
play
Yeah.
and showing the maturity of laying off, waiting for the umpire's call, and he calls foul and definitely breaks off of playing it. Pitch misses for a ball. 1-2 the count to Forcell. That pitch down and away for ball 2.
Yeah, and a good job there of Xander letting Mikey know, hey, ball did not get away from the catcher. It's very difficult for him to see that.
Rainer Heinrich on deck. 2-2 the count to Forcell. The 2-2 pitch. He lays off.
He definitely didn't go. Yeah, and again, just, I mean, he offered at it, but he
check
didn't.
it.
Yeah, he
and
didn't
he
go.
did a good job to hold it up. The umpire, first base umpire, watching the whole time. He's
Yeah, and a great thing to have for
payoff
umps.
pitch coming up. And this is lifted into shallow right field. And Farr will bring it in.
And again, a sky-high pitch there,
That'll bring
not
up
deep
number
enough to
9,
allow
Heinrich.
Caputa to score. As Farr was able to field that, I wouldn't say more than 20 feet off the dirt, and having the better angle, he called off second baseman Trip Villanueva because he had the better angle in case Mikey did decide to advance home.
And that will be it for Ureta Goyena. And they will bring in a new pitcher. And as soon as we see his number, we'll be able to let you know.
Saw him earlier. Is number 4, I believe, or no? 14.
So
4.
Ureta Goyena will head to center, and Farley will come out.
And number 4, Mason Engel, who is the pitcher that was warming up in
In
game
the previous
2.
game.
Yeah, he was warming up in game 2 in case he needed to come in. And another tall righty here is Mason Engel. And we'll see, does Isaac come in his normal center field?
Yeah, he's moved to center.
Did he already move out there to center? Okay.
He did.
And
Farley came out.
Farley did come out. Baron Farr does stay in right field because obviously Farley was the right fielder of choice in both the previous 2 games until Isaac came in to close out game 1 where Farley did shift to center and somebody else had come into right field, whoever that was in game 1.
Okay, what was this pitcher's name?
No, I'm sorry.
His number?
Mason Engel, number 4. Engel, E-N-G-E-L. Engel?
E-N-G.
E-L. So that could be Engel. I'm going to roll with Engel.
And we're ready to get back underway with Mason Engel coming on in relief. Isaac Ureta Goyena goes 3 2/3. And right now, the pitcher of record, as he owns the property on the bases right now. Rainer Heinrich will come to the plate. He's 0 for 2 on the evening. He is grounded to first and flown out to left. Engel from the stretch. First pitch offering to Heinrich, and since he hits the light post.
Yeah, he did. Almost hit the
Foul.
light.
First strike 1.
Tell you what, that reminds me of during the Comal tournament, we had a foul ball hit during when we were playing Vandergrift, and it actually shattered the light. Didn't have a guard on it. Luckily, it was one that was not right above the stands.
The 0-1 pitch, a breaking ball stays high for ball one, and that will even it up. Landon Miller on deck. 1-1 pitch, that's outside for ball two.
Yeah, very intense situation for Mason to come into. Obviously, bases loaded. He does have 2 outs, so, good in that aspect, but definitely a pressure-filled situation.
The 2-1 pitch, that's inside for ball three.
And a walk is as good as a hit here as it will
tie the game.
And that was another one that brushed very close to his shoulder for Rainer Heinrich as he turned away from the ball.
The 3-1 pitch, that's in for a strike. And the count goes full. The payoff pitch from Engel outside for ball four, and that'll walk in the tying run.
A lot of credit to Rainer Heinrich for being extremely patient and not antsy up there to want to do something offensively to help your team out. And honestly, just sitting there and watching that pitch was.
Coach Crimpine giving the sign to Landon Miller, swing away.
Yes, sir, and Landon Miller here, a great bat to be up in this spot.
And he will foul this one to the right of all places.
Of all places.
As he goes opposite Hoppo on that one, which he's gone left all day long. That's a long strike one. Caden Kaspar on deck. Bases loaded with 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth in a tie ball game. With Mason Engel on the mound, and
that gets through the hole.
That gets through the hole into right field. Farr bobbles it, and 2 runs will score as the Raiders extend their lead 3-1 over the Canyon Cougars.
Unbelievable. Farr doing his best to come up, knowing one was going to score, but he was trying to come up on that ball and get it on the run and get the strong throw home, and unfortunately didn't make it into the glove.
Caden Kaspar has doubled and flown out to left. Mason Engel toes in on the rubber. Kaspar shows bunt and lays off for ball one.
Doubled?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at Landon Miller's. He has walked and popped up to short. He lifts this one high and into left field. Evan Janner tracks it. He'll make the catch, and that will end the Raider fourth. Let the Raiders get 3 runs on 1 hit, and they leave 2. On to the 5th we go. Raiders now leading this one 3-1
and once
over the Canyon Cougars.
Once again, the exact same score in the same spot. Now, granted, we had a break in between on Game 2, but we're in the same score, same spot as we were in Game 2 in this inning. Before, obviously Canyon was able to plate 1 run to bring the final score 3-2 in Game 2, and here we are, Rouse up 3-1.
Due up for the Cougars in the 5th. Farr, Villanueva, and Hidroeta Goyena.
And I'm trying to see.
Don Miller checking in. Way to go, Raiders. Watching in Belize.
Belize. Must be nice.
Must be. Never been there.
21.
In fact, the only time I've ever been out of the country was as an infant to Mexico. And I can't even remember it, so I can't say that it was a memorable trip or not.
Up to bat for the Cougs, number 5, Braun Paul.
But I have been to several states. And I will say that maybe a couple of them may be on layovers at airports.
Okay.
Not that I got out of the airport, but I did land in the state, and I was in that state for a brief moment in time. Nathan Harris back out on the bump. Bron Farr at the plate. He reached on an error back in the third and came around to score. He will take for a ball. Or no, he'll get called for a strike.
Yeah, swinging a
miss.
Swinging a miss. I'm trying to see. We do have activity in the Canyon bullpen here, and I'm having a difficult time making out the.
Harris will deal this one, and it's hit out to left. And Landon Miller will make, I say left, it was more right center, my bad. For a fly ball out to center.
Trip Villanueva.
Trip Villanueva will come up. He grounded to first his first time up. That was played by Caputo and Rainer Heinrich covering the bag. He'll foul this one off for a strike.
And once again, Canyon back into that role of going at the first pitch as each of the last two batters have offered, coming up with strikes. One was swing and miss, and of course that was a foul.
Harris comes set. This breaking ball is lined to second. Heinrich has it, throw to first in time. And I'll tell you what, Villanueva almost beat that out.
Well, yeah, Mikey was running to make the play on the ball, not thinking that Rainer was going to have an opportunity, but when he saw that, he had to backpedal real fast and get in position to make that catch. So, great job for Mikey Caputo doing that, and Isaac did everything he could to try to get there.
Urareta Goyena will come to the plate. He's 1 for 2. He has singled and flown out to left. This is hit back to Harris at first, and he will make the throw down to first in time. And there will go 1-3 on the putout. It's a little chopper. He just kind of hit the end of the bat and dribbled out toward the pitching mound for the out. So they go in order in the fifth. No runs, no hits, nobody left on. On to the sixth we go. Raiders leading it 3-1. See if we have Mason Engel back out. Mason Engel back out on the mound to pitch the sixth for the Cougars.
Yeah.
Or pitch the fifth. I'm sorry. I got out ahead of myself.
Okay, I thought it was the fifth as well.
So due up for the Raiders. Salazar, Caputo, and Sparshoe in the middle of the order.
Sorry, I ducked out momentarily because I see
5 and 6.
I see the bullpen, and I can't quite make out his number because of the distance here. But I thought it was 21, but there is not a 21 on the roster.
Oscar Salazar makes his way to the plate.
Up to bat, number 8, Salazar.
Salazar has walked and grounded to short. He grounded to short to end the third. Mikey Caputo on deck. Engel deals. This is high for ball one.
I'll tell you what, who is warming up? He's got a lot of movement. Lefty. A lot of pre-delivery movement.
1-0 pitch. That's in for a strike.
In that windup.
One pitch outside for ball two. And what we can do is we can, in between innings, let's pull up the open Google. And pitch misses inside for ball three. And we'll do a search for UIL playoff brackets.
Okay.
And probably be able to see it better. I tried to pull it up on my phone, but it just would not come in right. The 3-1, that's high for ball 4.
Up to bat, number 2.
And that's
Caputo.
probably going to be it. Coach Kozel making his way out to the mound. And that will probably be it for Masoning, and it will be it. That'll do it for Angle with that leadoff walk. Do a Google search.
Okay, I will need to search that. All right.
Yeah, and do UIL playoff brackets. Okay, here you go. Up that first one.
Well, that's football. And
is
then
it
basketball,
football?
yeah, I needed to.
Did you do? Oh, you need to
I
do
didn't
baseball
put in-
playoff
I did
brackets.
not put in baseball.
Do baseball playoff brackets.
Obviously, we know where the allegiances lie here in Texas, as we are in baseball season and not
Yep.
football season,
Right.
and that's the first thing that pulls up.
There you go. So we'll look to see who either of these teams may be Region 2 and 4.
Yep, Region 2 and 4. So
You should be over on the right side, down at the bottom.
Yep, Canyon Rouse. Winner of this will play Alamo Heights, who has already advanced.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Varsity letting us know they play Alamo Heights. Winner of the series will play Alamo Heights. Yeah, I tried to look it up on my phone earlier, and the bracket from the UIL just does not display correctly on my phone. So we have our computer up, and we were going to look at it. But thank you for that.
And this
All right, Mark Hooper checking in. Let's go Raiders. Go Hooper. Go Raiders. Devin Hooper finishing up his collegiate career at Shriner. Devin Hooper, part of that first playoff team that Coach Crimping coached.
Very nice.
Here at Rouse.
In his first year. Okay, number
Yeah.
11. I kept saying 21. It's number 11, Matthew LeGrant.
Your pitcher for the Cougs, Matthew LeGrand.
There you go. So my eyes were deceiving me. I kept seeing 21, and it's actually 11.
Right.
And I was hoping to get some help, and everybody had the same thing. Everybody's looking over, man, we can't quite tell. And this will be another tall pitcher here for Canyon. Is a lefty. And as I mentioned a moment ago, a lot of movement in that pre-delivery in the windup.
So look to see if there's some other defensive changes. Elijah Farley will be coming back in, and Braun Farr will be coming out.
Yes. So, and again, he did start in center field, so he is allowed to exit and re-enter the game at any point. So no issues there on not bringing in a fresh player in right field. And already, okay, no, there was a 21 warming up. Okay, I just saw it. 21 is still in the bullpen warming up, but I guess he's just along for the ride as he's not on the roster that we have been given.
Winner of this game, hopefully Rouse, versus Alamo Heights, will play winner of the Cedar Park Medina Valley series. That first pitch offering from LeGrant misses for ball 1 to Mikey Caputo. LeGrant winds and deals. Actually, I said he winds. I made a mistake. He's pitching from the stretch. Pitch in for a strike, and that will even it up. Long, lanky left-hander. Joe Sparshoe on deck. Salazar staying close to the bag.
Oh,
That
great.
breaking ball in for a strike.
Great breaking pitch there to get Mikey on his heels and takes.
LeGrant comes set, and Caputo will tattoo this one foul down the third baseline. Count will stay 1-2. LeGrant comes set. The 1-2 pitch. This is hit into left. That is a base hit for Mikey Caputo, maybe two. Oscar Salazar will round third. He is headed home. The throw will be cut off.
Wow.
And Salazar will cut it. Will score as Kinsey cuts the throw that was intended for Ott.
Yeah, and that would have easily had Oscar at home, as Oscar had barely turned the base as the ball was already being thrown from Janner into the cutoff. Wow,
that'll be an
great
RBI
break.
double for Mikey Caputo.
Yeah, as he's able to send that right down the line, and it got into the corner.
LeGrant checks Caputo at second, and Sparshoe lays a bunt down. LeGrant will fall, and there will be no play to first base. That will be a base hit for Joe Sparshoe.
Yeah, and a great bunt down the third base line. Not hard enough to draw Kinsey coming in, so that was having to be played by LeGrant, and unfortunately when he went to plant, his foot slid right underneath.
He came out from underneath him, and just unfortunate. Sparshoe takes off, and Correjo lifts this one to deep center field. It's over the glove of Irureta. That will score Caputo. And Correjo with a stand-up RBI double.
Yeah, great job there. Very similar to his shot in game one. Out to center for the stand-up double that he had in game one. Great job of hitting there, and he just jumped all over that, and immediately Coach Kensel coming out.
That may be it. Coach Kozel back out, and he's reaching for the ball, and that will be it for LeGrant. And he is
calling
Farley in, and so Braun Farr will probably go back out into right field. And we'll see here in just a moment.
Nope, they brought Braun Farr in because now he's warming up. So now that brings up, okay, how many pitches did he throw in game one? Because I see him getting warmed up.
Well, he had to come out because he was at his limit.
Oh.
I believe he pitched 7, or he was close to it.
No, you're right. He was 119 pitches.
Right.
On game one, or very close to that.
So number 8 comes in, enters the game as you have a name for number 8?
Number 8 comes in, and that is going to be, I can't see it from this card, sorry. I didn't have a clean picture of his other card. That is going to be Graydon Engler.
Graden?
Grayden, Graydon, and that's Engler.
Engler. Graydon Engler in at right field, as Elijah Farley will come in relief of Matthew LeGrant, who will not get credited with an out.
You know, and just something else I did notice on his card, there's a second 18. Has not been in the game at all, so it's not anything to be concerned with. But I looked down, I was like, wait a second, there's a number 18 in the substitute players list. As most of the time you have JV players coming up to get some bench time in the playoffs.
I guess you would have to look at his uniform. That looks like Farley to me.
It is. No, it is Farley. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
And again, Farley's one of those very similar to Colin Correjo. Throws righty, bats lefty.
Roseland, woohoo, Coco. Yeah, that was a great shot by Colin Correjo. I thought that had a chance to hit the top of the green monster at 365. And Gonzalez will pop this one up, and Trip Villanueva will make the catch.
And Will Canlicchio was basically ready to stand underneath that, but was called off, so he just paused and watched it come down.
Tyler Espinosa will pinch hit for Xander Forcell.
Up to bat, number 31, Espinosa.
Tyler Espinoza getting his first at-bat of the series with Rainer Heinrich on deck. That pitch misses for ball one.
Yeah, and Tyler, another one of those catchers for Rouse that gets very hot with that bat from time to time. And
that pitch misses low for ball two.
And being very patient here as Farley's getting his first
Runners at
opportunity.
second and third. Sparshoe at third. Correjo at second. 11 and 12 respectively. And Espinoza will lay off for ball three.
Yeah, I was looking to lay down bunt there, or showed bunt, and obviously the ball very similar to the previous two, low in the zone. Okay, so now we do have somebody different than
The
Far.
3-0. And Espinoza will take for a strike. Lori Kidhill checking in. This is exciting. Let's get this game three, Raiders. Let's get this game three. Let's do it. Lori's staying in the car. She's afraid to come in. And Espinoza takes for ball four. And that will load them with Raiders for Rainer Heinrich. Heinrich has walked. He is grounded to first and flown out to left. And for the Raider faithful, Lori, Steve Kidhill was my former broadcasting partner. If she showed up in the game and Raiders were winning and the other team was at bat, she would not come in. She was afraid she might jinx the game. And Heinrich will hit this one foul out of play.
And I do have a number for the next Canyon pitcher warming up in the bullpen, and that is number 14, Cade Becker, getting loose.
Farley comes set. The 0-1 delivery. That will bounce away and score Sparshoe on the wild pitch.
Sorry, and I was off by one run there. Sorry, everybody at home. It is now 6-1, not 5-1 with that run coming across.
Runners at second and third. Espinoza and Correjo. Correjo at third. That pitch misses outside for ball two. 2-1, the count to Heinrich. Raiders now leading this one 6-1 over the Cougars. The 2-1. This is a towering fly foul ball. And that will even the count up at 2. And Heinrich will foul this one off. And the count will stay even. Landon Miller on deck.
Yeah, and a big inning in the fourth for Rouse, followed up by another one here in the fifth. Looking to keep this one alive.
That pitch misses low for ball three, and Correjo, Nerner has worked it full, as his brother Carter calls him. Swing and a miss.
Way high in the zone there, and just, again, being antsy, wanting to produce, and unfortunately didn't lay off the high heat. You know, I let Rainer know that Carter had checked in on the chat during the game two and said, hey, Carter checked in and said, Nerner. He goes, what? He came in on the chat. I'm like, oh, yeah, he was listening in on your game.
Lori letting me know that I stayed put in the car during the playoffs against Floresville, and Aleppa hit a grand slam.
Yes. And I'm sure he is extremely happy that you did so, if that truly were a curse.
Right, yeah. You know, Steve still blames himself for losing at Hallsville, for leaving the press box and going into the stands. Correjo will score on the wild pitch. Caden Kaspar on deck with Landon Miller coming to the plate. Miller has doubled, singled, and flown out to left. He takes for a ball. Miller, the 8th Raider batter of the inning. Farley comes set, the 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss for strike one.
And Landon quickly chirping at himself like, oh, how did you miss that pitch? That was yours.
Miller with a home run in this series. He hit one in game 1. The deuce is wild pitch, and he strikes him out.
Same exact pitch that he took out Rayner with, that high heat that the guys are just having a hard time laying off of.
And that will end the Raider 5th. They get 4 runs on 3 hits, and they leave 1. After 5 complete, it is 7-1 Rouse. On to the 6th we go. Due up for the Cougars in the 6th, Cantu, Canalicchio, and Ortiz.
Yeah.
Nolan Harris back out on the mound to pitch for the Raiders.
And looks like Coach is having Dawson Snow come into center field to bring Landon in to warm up for the close situation. Would not be a save situation at this point. But for the most part, Nolan is good for 3 innings. You know, just something that you have batters get to see what he has to offer for multiple at-bats or for the second time around. And, you know, he may not be as effective, so Coach not wanting to take any chances here as he does bring in Landon, the U of H commit, or brings him in to warm him up, should I say, and have him ready just in case.
So Cantu has not seen Harris yet. This will be his first at-bat versus Harris. Harris came in to face Will Canalicchio back in the 3rd. Pitch misses for ball 1.
Yeah, well outside on that one.
One-0 pitch, swing and a miss for a strike.
Yeah, and Xander Forsell does stay in defensively for Rouse, as Dawson Snow was the only defensive change to be made for this inning.
1-1 the count to Cantu. Cantu has walked and grounded to second. This is hit out to shallow center field, and that will be a base hit for Cantu.
Gotta bring up number 22, Will Canalicchio.
Will Canalicchio comes to the plate. Canalicchio is 0 for 2. He has flown out to right and grounded to second. Canalicchio jumped on the first pitch from Nolan Harris in his previous at-bat. That pitch misses inside for ball 1.
Yeah, sending that high towering fly ball out to right field, allowing the runner to advance.
Harris comes set. Breaking ball in for a strike. And that was a weird looking pitch right there. It's like he flicked his wrist and it just kind of did this up
and down. Almost like what you would see out of a knuckleball, right? That kind of up and down movement that a knuckleball has, but it was not.
The 1-1 pitch. This is chopped on and hit foul down the first base side for strike 2.
You know, just like that, ahead of the batter. Now is Nolan, and trying to do his job here in the 6th to make way for
The 1-2 pitch. This is popped up and could be playable. It's in foul territory, and Xander Forsell able to get to it. He makes the catch.
And that works just as good as a
Sacrifice.
sac fly as
Number 2.
Cayman Cantu was very good base running and paying attention that Xander trying to do his best to corral that ball, and he did, but Cantu off to second base on the sac fly foul. I don't know that
will
really
bring up
counts.
Sam Ortiz. He has flown out to center and grounded to third. He's 0 for 2, and he'll take for a ball. Cantu extends his lead at second. The 1-0 delivery. That gets the outside corner for a strike.
You know, I don't think one thing we did mention, obviously Sam Ortiz being the pitcher in game 2, he did take the loss, but I'll tell you what, he came out in the afternoon today and was
he was
very
on the ropes.
effective.
He was on the ropes last night. Raiders were on the verge of running him out of the game, and that breaking the action, and Coach Kozel trusting in him and bringing him back in.
On 60 pitches.
On 60 pitches, and pitches a solid 4-inning performance for the Cougars earlier today. What an outstanding performance by that young man.
Yeah, he did
to
great.
gut check and come back and do as well as he did today. 1-1 pitch. This is popped up in foul territory. Mikey Caputo able to get to it. This time Cantu will hold up as Caputo plays a heads-up play, checks him at second and throws to third to hold him at second as he was going to tag up again on a foul fly ball.
Yeah, I think that was ultimately Cantu was going to take off hard to draw the throw and in intention, hopefully see if it gets away from Blake over at third, but Blake does a good job of bodying up the.
And Evan Janner comes to the plate, and gosh, this is another solid hitter for the Cougars. He has been outstanding. He will take. There's that floating, slow curveball.
It's behind the batter and breaks over the plate for a strike. Unbelievable movement in that pitch.
But Janner, a solid hitter for the Cougars.
Oh, has been the entire series, and I'm sure probably is one of those that leads the team.
Pitch down and away for ball one, and that will even it up.
You know, obviously lineups are normally, or averages, season stats are normally hidden, as they should be for anybody that wants to jump in and look. But I would bet a guess that Janner is probably the leader of this squad at the plate.
Janner 1 for 2. That pitch will get away from Forsell, and Cantu will round third and hold up there. And Harris will cover home.
Little gust of wind there in the mic and
yeah, well, it's in our mics. Ours is actually blocked by the window.
Down.
The crowd mic's blocked by the windowsill or the window frame, so it's coming in on us. 2-1 the count to Janner. 2-1 pitch, a swing and a miss for strike 2. 1 on with 2 outs with Deuces Wild for Evan Janner. And we say Deuces Wild, we mean 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs.
Yeah, get that wind feedback.
The 2-2
out.
pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3, and that will do it for the Cougars 6. They get no runs on 1 hit. They leave 1. And after 5.5, it's 7-1 Rouse.
And I'll tell you what, that is about as excited as I have ever seen Nolan Harris. He comes in absolutely pumped, knowing that he was probably done, and that even drew a grin from Coach Crimpine. Again, Nolan, very subdued, very quiet,
Right.
barely even cracks a smile in pictures, and he was absolutely fired up going to the dugout.
Elijah Farley back out on the mound to pitch the 6th for the Cougars. Due up for the Raiders, Kaspar, Salazar, and Caputo.
We'll change things up here and have been recording him throughout this series, and unfortunately he's not been hitting well other than the occasional shot, and we're going to leave that right there. And
Well,
wow.
Kaspar is 0 for 2. He has popped up to short, he has flown out to left, and he has walked. You know, Correjo had that double, that RBI double last inning. He hit his first home run here in Game 2.
Yes.
2 years ago.
Yeah, deep shot to right field.
And Kaspar will take for ball 1. That pitch gets the outside corner for a strike. That will even things up at 1. If you've enjoyed today's broadcast, be sure and hit that like button. If you would, subscribe. And if you want to receive notifications when Rouse Baseball goes live, be sure and hit that notification bell. It'd be greatly appreciated. 2-1, the count to Kaspar. That pitch way outside for ball 3.
You know, and as always, as we have recognized here on the chat line today, we appreciate all comments, and as long as they're clean comments.
That pitch misses inside for ball 4, and the leadoff is aboard with a free pass.
Number 8, Salazar.
And that's kind of the tail of the tape for the Cougars today. They have given up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 walks. Pitch misses for a ball.
No, that was actually called a strike.
Did he call that a strike?
He did call that a strike, and it
Okay.
was extremely outside, but he liked it enough to.
That pitch gets the outside corner for strike 2. 0-2, the count to Oscar Salazar.
Yeah,
Mikey Caputo on deck. Salazar is, I'm sorry, Salazar walked in the previous inning. This will be a line to right, and Kaspar will hold up at second. That'll be a base hit for Oscar Salazar, and that's what we've been missing in the lineup is a bat like Salazar, who was Rouse's hottest hitter when he was injured
Yes.
during the Cedar Park game.
Yeah, he did. Unfortunately, a collision there at first base, which was an out, did yank his left arm back, and not the throwing arm, but definitely something that affected him.
That'll bring up Mikey Caputo. Had an RBI double his last time up. He has flown out to center, been hit by a pitch, and doubled. He will take for a ball.
Yeah, unfortunately, Caden not having an opportunity there to round, as the ball did get away from the right fielder.
Elijah Farley will deal, and Caputo will show bunt and take a strike. Runners at first and second with no outs for the Raiders here in the bottom of the 6th. They lead this one 7-1 over the Canyon Cougars. Farley will spin off and look Kaspar back to second. One misses high for ball 2. Two and one, the count to Caputo.
Right down the middle
Pitch in for
there.
a strike.
Interesting. That actually is going to draw a quick.
Mound visit from Colinon.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, it's a great pitch right down the middle. Maybe not necessarily what Ott called, and even though it was effective in for a strike, he doesn't necessarily want him doing that again.
The 2-2 pitch to Caputo. That's high for ball 3, and Caputo works it full. Joe Sparshoe on deck. The payoff pitch from Farley. That is fouled off and
off the
netting.
Helmet. Well, actually, I think it bounced off the helmet of Ott and popped high up into the net.
Farley comes set. The payoff pitch, that's high and outside for ball 4, and that will load the bases with Raiders.
And no outs, and in steps Little Shotty.
Up to bat, number 12.
If I am correct, that is the 8th walk issued by the Cougars, and as we have said so many times, because we've been on the other side of that coin, and
no doubt
we have given up. Gosh, against Cedar Park last week,
18.
we gave up 9 walks and 4 hit batters. And there's just no defense against that. When your pitching is off and you're giving up walks or you're hitting batters and you're putting men on base that
okay, so 21 is coming in, and we do not have his number, folks. At least
they'll have his name.
No, I asked
They
them
don't know.
earlier because I saw him warming up in the bullpen, and
Number 21, and
I went back through all 3 of the cards that we have, and on none of them did I have his number. So
you assume he's probably a JV player that has come up.
It's exactly what I
most
assumed,
likely.
yes. And it looks like the guys here in the press box are making a quick phone call to maybe try to find out who he is.
Anyone in the stands?
We'll do that if we can.
You want to make a trip out right quick?
Yeah, we unfortunately don't have a quick, easy way to get to them, but I will see if I can get a net. Last name's what? Snow. So we don't have a Snow on the card. Well, no, that's fine. I was hoping to have him on the card, so Snow.
There's no number 21 on the lineup card. Do y'all have a lineup card that has 21 on there? Okay. So Jonathan's out checking him out, the lefty. Joe Sparshoe will be coming up. And what a day of baseball it has been. The Hugh White. Hugh White, number 21, will relieve Elijah Farley, and Farley will go back into right field.
He's had a lot. He's getting his steps in as Farley as he has been back and forth, right field, center field, back to the dugout, back to right field, coming in to pitch, and then back out to right field. So
he is your all-around athlete. The utility player, say the least. Bases loaded with no outs for Joe Sparshoe with Hugh White on the mound. White from the stretch. That pitch will sail high and outside for ball 1. Pitch, that's high for ball 2.
almost the exact same pitch, really, at
And it tailed away from the batter. You see it's had a lot of movement way up high and just tails away.
Great pitch if you can corral that and get that down to the strike zone.
2-0. It's
getting
still
closer.
High, getting closer.
He's getting closer. He's
nowhere to put him. He's 3-0 in the count.
You know, he's not climbing the ladder. Unfortunately, he's trying to come down the ladder.
Colin Correjo on deck. That pitch misses high for ball 4, and that'll walk in a run. That is the third walk issued this inning. That'll bring up Colin Correjo. He had a RBI double his last time up. A lefty-lefty matchup here. Blake Gonzalez on deck. A breaking ball stays high for ball 1. And White yet to throw a strike. 1-0. There he drops one in for a strike on the inside corner.
Yeah, great pitch. Again, lots of movement. I mean, he's shown now he's got the breaking pitch that as a lefty breaks away from the lefty batter here, and then he's had multiples that were high that break the opposite way, so.
1-1 the count to Correjo, the 1-1 pitch, and Correjo lifts this one deep into right center, and that's off the fence.
Again.
And that will score 2 runs, a 2 RBI double. What a night for Colin Correjo at the plate. He has struggled all season long, and he is having a night here. A 2 RBI double for Coco.
And everybody, look at his boys giving him props. Loving seeing that bat wake up from Colin Correjo. You know, as we all do, and I'm sure his father is smiling at home and probably yelling at the TV at the same time. It's about time, boy. 20 is up now as a pinch hitter, and once again, I do not have him on the card.
Well, he's got to be on there. He can't be batting. That pitch in for a strike.
Well, he's not on this card. Unfortunately, I don't have a great look at the first card because it was not kept. He's not on. No, and again, they're also saying here in the box that he is not on the card, but there could be another card that was given to the home plate umpire.
This one is popped up and could be playable, and that's off the outstretched hand.
Oh, I apologize. I'm looking at the wrong card.
Colin Ott.
I am not thinking straight here. That is still Rouse. 20 is Sanchez. I was looking at the wrong card. Sorry, folks. I was looking at the Canyon card, not the Rouse card, and Sanchez is now the batter.
Sanchez will take for a ball. He's now 1-2 in the count. Do we have a first name for him?
No, as you know, Coach doesn't put first names on much of this.
He's a JV player that has been brought up, and he will hit this one. That will go by, and that will score the winning run. That should be the ball game. An RBI single for Sanchez to end this contest as the Raiders
as they swarm
will run rule the Canyon Cougars to unfortunately end their season, but the Raiders will advance as they will face the Alamo Heights Mules next week. Most likely that will be a neutral game.
Neutral
Alamo
site.
Heights more towards, they're in San Antonio.
Yes.
And so that could be somewhere around this area possibly. San Marcos.
Well, you
maybe.
you also have Northeast Complex.
In San Antonio.
Yeah, that's closer to
Andrew
San Antonio.
Kidhill, let's go Raiders, watching from a trip back from Odessa. Let's go. Let's go Raiders. Your Raiders are your by-district champions. And moving on in the playoffs, we want to thank our gracious hosts for allowing us to be in the press box here this evening and bringing this ball game to you.
You know, and once again, we talked about this pregame. This series, third time it's come to a third game, and the third game has always seemed to be not a close game.
Contest. The last 2 years, yeah.
2021, Rouse, walked away out of Game 3 with a massive win. 2022, Canyon did the same thing to take Rouse out of the playoffs in the first round and won and running away, and now Rouse able to do the same thing, and it comes down to pitching, right? Pitching has been the win or loss, live or die by the pitching for Rouse, and unfortunately Canyon is on the same side of that today.
Lehigh Benton checking in. Way to go, Crimp. Raider Wrestling watching. Lou Diaz, let's go. Rose, way to win at Raiders. And George Garcia, woohoo, Raiders, way to go. Momo, yes. Jonathan will run down the final numbers for you, and then we will let you know sometime during the week what the schedule will be for the games and where those games will be played. I will submit a request for broadcast, and of course that will be at NFHS discretion, so we don't automatically get to do that. At worst case scenario, it would be an audio only broadcast. But thank you, Ramon. We appreciate you so very much tuning in, and we're glad that you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
So game stats here, obviously final, your Raiders winning 11-1 with a run rule. They did come in with 22 plate appearances, 11 runs on 6 hits, 9 RBIs, 8 walks issued by Canyon, and 6 strikeouts.
That's just hard. You had 2 hit batters and 8 walks. And that is just hard to overcome when you give up 10 free passes to first base.
Yeah, very much so. And on that, you did have a combination of 5 pitchers go for Canyon. Again, 8 walks and only 6 strikeouts with the hit batters, having 2 of those. Actually 4 hit by pitch, based off of what I'm seeing here in the game changer. And on the pitching side for Rouse, 2 pitchers, obviously Oscar Salazar on the no decision. Nolan Harris does get the win as he finished the game out here, not having to go into the 7th inning. And they did allow 3 hits, no earned runs, 5 strikeouts, and only 1 walk.
There you go. That's the difference. The difference right there is Harris and Salazar combined for only 1 walk, and that's the difference in this ball game right there.
As was game 2.
Right.
Game 2, 0 walks from Trey Schluter. And again, only 5 strikeouts, similar to today. It's not that you have to blow the ball by these guys. You just have to put, pitch to contact is always a key component. Let the defense work behind you. Granted, we did have an error, 1 error in game 2, 1 error in game 3 here, each of those coming around to score. But those are the only scores in the game 2 and game 3 were off of errors.
Right. So what a game it was. What a team that the Canyon Cougars are. A great group of young men. Coach Kozel and his staff, thank you all for having us here. And fans, you chatting in, thank you so very much. It's been a pleasure having you all with us, and glad that you were able to enjoy the broadcast and we were able to bring it to you as well. To you Raiders, to our Raider faithful, we will see y'all next week, and we will get that link tweeted out as soon as we know what the schedule will be. We know that our opponent will be Alamo Heights, the Alamo Heights Mules, and we will face them probably a Friday-Saturday contest, but it could end up like Canyon where it was a Thursday-Friday-Saturday setup. So
yeah, you never know nowadays.
Yeah, we don't know. So, but that's what we're thinking we would be as a Friday-Saturday setup. So for Jonathan Kaspar, I'm Michael Francis.
I was going to say one thing I did want to add. We
Yes.
do know, based off of format this year, unlike previous years, there will be no option for a single game playoff.
No,
everything
that's gone
is
away.
a 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
so
it's a best 2 of
those that
3.
know the rules from previous years, there is no coin flip to determine whether you want a single game or a 3 game. So that's out. It is all best 2 out of 3.
That is correct. For Jonathan Kaspar, I'm Michael Francis.